All right, so I just got a what is this? Super Z6 snow chains, or actually these are snow cables, not chains. Yeah, Super Z6. That's the part number right there. So it comes in this little bag. I got it on Amazon for like I think it was about $70 or so. Comes with the cables. So this is the zigzag type. You know, that's what they call it, Z. That's why they say Z, because it zigzags. All right. There's the cables. Oh. Cables. Comes with the tensioner, so that way whatever slack the cables have, it tightens it up. Otherwise, you don't want your snow chains or cables to flop around. Otherwise, it'll damage your car. Right? Comes with it's like rubber, not rubber, but plastic bag gloves. I wouldn't use this. I don't think this is very good. I would rather just add some latex gloves or rubber gloves to this kit right here. So I'm gonna throw some of those in. There's some instructions here. Instructions. It's on English. Oh, look at this. This is cool. This is not paper. This is like the waterproof plastic paper type material. So that's cool that they did that. That's actually thoughtful of them. A lot of times these companies, they'll give you like paper, and as soon as you're out in the snow, it gets wet and it just becomes useless. But this thing it's one of those plastic type papers, so it doesn't. It's still good if it gets wet. So there's that. So this thing, let's see. So again, this is the zigzag type. It's a zigzag type. You can see it. You can see zigzagging across, like a Z. So I'm gonna put one on. This should be pretty easy compared to cables and chains from the past. Some of them are harder to put on. Some of them are easier to put on. This one I believe is one of the easier ones. And this is for my truck. Let's do that. Let's see, there's the tire on the truck. Let's see, before we get started, actually, let's go back up here. Go back up and look at these again real fast. For example, the connector here, how the connector works. So you can't just put it on straight like this, because this little bulge here prevents it from sliding in. You have to actually get it closer to 90 degrees, so that way you can slip it past that little bulge right there. So once it's like this, that bulge is there, so that way it doesn't come apart. Okay, so all the connectors are kind of like this, more or less. All right. Also, the other thing, actually, you guys didn't see that angle. Okay, let's look at it again. So the connections are like so. All right. Connections are like so. So you can't put it together like that. You have this bulge right here. And so they have to be angled so you can slip in. Then it comes back. Now they can't come apart because of that bulge right there, that little thingamabob. So all the connections are like this, pretty much. I think there's 3 of them on this, just like this. 3 of them. One here where it splits. Where it splits in the middle. And the 2 ends, just like that. And this side is actually, this side's a little bit different. So the other thing that I wanted to show is that also on the buckle part here, or the joint part here, you see actually I think it says tire side. So make sure that this is on the tire side and not the other side, because if it's on the other side, I think it's just basically it's harder to connect this, right? how you connect these buckles. Okay, so let's look at it. So we have the split. Look at the split. So let's actually just look at it like this. We've got the see how the back side. So this is the back side. The inside is solid, and this side we have the split. So the split is actually at the 6 o'clock position on the tire when you put it on. So you gotta lasso this around the backside. So let's see, that, and make sure my buckle part right here says tire side, right? Like so. And it sounds like a rattlesnake. That totally sounds like a rattlesnake. Alright, so let's put back from the back side. So, right. So the cool thing about these type of tire chains and tire cables that snow chain and snow cables that have the split here is that you could do this while the vehicle is stationary, because the other type where it's connected, you have to lay it down, then you have to drive, lay it down in front or behind a tire, you have to drive over it, then connect it. This type, you just do it, put it on when it's the vehicle, without moving the vehicle, basically. So once that's over like that, gotta reach into the back and grab the back buckles on both sides. You have to basically lift it up until until it's up higher. Let me adjust the camera real fast here. Jeez, I have this little mini tripod. I don't get any height on it, unfortunately. But that's just kind of have to do. So I lift it up from the back. Now I have the two ends, right? And I basically, like so, right? You can see the two ends there. Snap it in like that. And now you could kind of move it towards the back again. Right, move it towards the back. So they go together now. Now the front side, so you do it from the top down. Now you do the front side buckle on the top. And these ones have to be at a pretty much almost perpendicular angle. Okay, now that's straightened out. So I'm looking at the back again, make sure that it didn't disconnect. So now both the top back and the top front is connected. Now we could go down to the bottom. So the bottom here, you have to kind of give yourself some slack a little bit. That's the key to doing this. If you don't have enough slack, you won't be able to get it in there. It's just not enough, So I'm gonna move the cable around a little bit. Gave myself some slack. Now I have slack. I can hook it in, like so. Right? So remember, I had to hook this in at an angle, almost perpendicular to each other. Hook it in, loop it. And now it's straightening it back out. Now it's good. And after that, I'm gonna kind of center this this blue right here as centered as I can. All right, so I'm gonna do center as much as I can. Right, okay, so it's centered, and I'm good there. Now I have to put on the tensioner loop. So here's the tensioner loop for the cables. And pretty much all chains will have this. If they don't have this, then yeah, if you don't have this, what happens is that it's not fully tightened on there. So as you drive, this thing will flap around, and potentially it could disconnect where the buckles are. Right, the buckles could disconnect, or the connection could disconnect, and also if it's flapping around too much, the chain or the cables could hit your car basically and damage your car. So this cable setup right here has 6 sides basically, essentially. So you take your tensioner here, get it from the top first, then basically go across each other. So that's a 12 o'clock, then 6 o'clock. Then up here is this is like a 1 or 2 o'clock right here. 1:30. Hook it on like so. Then the opposite side of that on this side. that. This other one. So I guess this thing's still kind of new, so it's kind of tight, which is actually a good thing. You want it to be tight, but you don't want the cables or the chains to be loose and flapping around. Okay, so once I have that in, I make sure my all my hooks are pretty much centered on the cables, each of the cables here, so that way it's like nice and even. The load, the force, and everything's nice and even, so it's nice and uniform. And that's it. That's how you install. In this particular case, snow chains, or excuse me, snow cables, not snow chains. And again, these are the zigzag type, you know, the Z type, and these are better than the horizontal type, because with the horizontal type, the space in between the you know, where the chain of the cable is so great that, you know, every time you're in there, you have no contact with the chain itself, so you don't have as much grip. Whereas with this one, since they zigzag, you have a higher percentage of time where they make contact with the snow or the ice, and so basically you have more grip. So basically these ones work better than the horizontal ones, you know, zigzag versus horizontal. That's it. So other thing I recommend, or what I would recommend you do is because once you use these things will get pretty rusty. So what I recommend you do is, you probably do this now, and I'm probably gonna do it now as well. I'm gonna take this off and do it. Is spray WD-40 on this. So WD-40 will, you know, help prevent this from getting rusty. So because they all rust once you use them after the first time, they'll get all rusty. Especially if you're in a area that uses salt. Here I'm in California, so we don't, you know, California banned the use of salt several decades ago because the salt was actually killing all the trees alongside of the road, because it got too salty. The dirt got too salty, so the trees were all dying alongside of the road. So they banned salt. So now they only use sand, but still, you know, this thing, it wears out, because right now it's all the steel here is all coated in zinc. So that makes it, you know, corrosion resistant. But once you use it and it wears out, it'll wear out that zinc layer, and also the steel will be exposed and it'll get all rusty. So to prevent the rustiness, definitely use WD-40. It's probably better to use WD-40 afterwards, because if you use it in the beginning, well, actually do it both in the beginning, so that way it gets into all the nooks and crannies. So later on, when you get salt and whatever in there, it helps repel that away. But afterwards, I would after you use it, I would rinse these out with fresh water. Then after that, respray it with WD-40, and that will prevent this thing from getting too rusty and lasting longer. Basically, is the whole point. Because, you know, snow chains and snow cables are pretty expensive. You know, these ones were, I think these ones were about $70 or $80, something like that, on Amazon. I think it was $80 actually on Amazon. That was the cheapest Z type that I could find. That's easy to put on and stuff. And you know, you don't want to be spending $80 every season if you could make these things last longer, you know, or spend that much money too often. Okay, so let's take it apart. So take it apart, it's basically the opposite. So it depends on where you're driving. Let's say you're driving, you stop. You don't always get a chance to stop how you put it on, you know, the layout. So for example, this is the bottom here, this is the top. So maybe I might have stopped somewhere where over here could be the bottom, and now I'm sitting on that. So basically, when you take it off, you have to kind of drive off. You have to take it, disassemble it, then drive off of it, because it could be sitting on one of the links. So taking it off, same thing as putting it back on. So do the opposite on the tensioners. All right, take all that off. And the bottom, and again, this thing has to be 90-degree angle. Top. Close to 90 degrees, not necessarily 90 degrees, but pretty close. Oh, okay. So again, if you were actually driving, so when you get to this point, the tire could be on one of the links. could be on one of the links, and and you can't take it off, so you have to basically drive off of, drive a little bit further forward or back to drive off of the links, so that way you could take it out. But anyways, so that's putting on and taking off a set of snow cables or snow chains, and the snow chain version of this is exactly the same. It works exactly the same. The only difference is that instead of cables, it's a chain, but they worked exactly the same though. Okay, all right, thanks for watching.